Coach, we're back home this weekend for UAB. We've got 3 conference weekends left. Let's go back to UTSA. Last weekend took 2 of 3 out in San Antonio, and it started with Corey Roberts on Friday night.
Yeah, and it's really kind of goes back even 2 or 3 or 4 weekends before that. I thought we played relatively well for a couple of days at Old Dominion and won the last game of that series. I thought we played relatively well at FAU. And had a chance to win the Friday game and didn't quite get it done. And then we had a run rule game that we won on Sunday, and then the Tulane series where we won the first 2 games of the series, and then we got rained out the last day, so we won that series. And then guys are starting to see the speed of the game. Guys are starting to understand that this league there's a lot of really good teams, and every weekend's going to be a battle. So pleased with the effort last weekend. I thought that. We put ourselves in position to win all 3 games, which is a good thing, and we were able to win 2 against a very good team on the road. So anytime you can win 2 on the road against a good team in conference play, it's a good weekend.
Well, starting pitching is certainly attributed to what you just mentioned. Corey's had, I think, 7 quality starts in his last 7 outings. Brock and Ryan have both turned the corner. How much of it starts with those 3 guys?
Well, a lot of it does, because as you see, and we're going to see again this weekend, with UAB coming in here, you've got to have quality starting pitching. If you don't, you have no shot in this league. There's just so many good arms and so many good teams with the ability to be able to change looks, whether it be right-handed or left-handed, good bullpens. Just that's what happens at the higher levels of play. So. Those guys have been solid for us. We've had some hiccups here and there along the way, but they've gotten better. I think the other thing that's gotten better for us too is we've played a lot better defense here the last month or so, and we've talked about it a lot. It's amazing, what happens when you actually get some practice time. And Bo Robinson, one of our assistants, and Coach Rochelle, Chris Rochelle, another one of our assistants, have really done a good job along with Brandon Hall, our pitching coach, of really. In practice days and practice time, listen to what our overall plan is, that I try to communicate to them every day, and then going about, helping these guys get better. So I think, our infield defense has gotten a lot better. We've played really good defense in the outfield for most of the year, and our defense behind the plate has gotten better. So when you combine all those things together, it's a good thing. We need it to continue. To have a chance to win in this league, you have to have good starting pitching. You have to play really good defense. You can't have games where you make, 3 or 4 errors in a game because you're not going to win.
And there's no doubt over the weekend, all 3 of those games at San Antonio were close. So one defensive mistake, one mistake anywhere, as we've seen before, can easily cost you in this league.
Yeah, and we were, the umpiring crew that we've had, this past weekend, the ones that we've had in the past, we've had a really good umpiring. Outside of a few games here or there, but the umpiring's been really good. And one of the crew chief from last weekend want to know why all the coaches this year and last year have been kind of tight. And like every game's close. A call here or there really matters now. In the past, it maybe not mattered quite as much. And I think that the umpires we've had in the league have been really, really good to this point. I think that they understand it too. So there's just more of a sense of urgency from everybody because there's going to be close games. UTSA was at the top of our league, or right there competing for a conference championship, and we've been, near the bottom, especially early in the season, and we've gotten better. And for us to go and beat a team that's at the top of the league, 2 out of 3, I think speaks volumes for our improvement to this point. But I think it also speaks volumes to the strength of the league and how small a margin for error that we all have.
Well, we've talked about improving as close as the league has been all year long. We're not blowing anyone away in statistical categories, but that seems like that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. And, I don't know how we're going to play this weekend. I don't know how we're going to play, the following weekend at Louisiana Tech. I don't know how we're going to play the following weekend against Southern Miss. But we do now have a concept and an idea of what the challenge is every single weekend. And that's been the biggest thing. We've played a great schedule. I know we talked about it here before we got on air. The latest rankings I saw, we got the 38th toughest schedule in the country this year to this point. That's big time. And any time that you're playing that volume of games against really, really high level competition, you're either going to go one way or the other. You're just going to keep getting beat down, or you're going to figure out a way to make adjustments. And our guys have figured out a way to make adjustments. We're practicing better now. I think we're more competitive, game in and game out, and we need that to continue this weekend because it's going to be really, really tough with UAB coming in here.
What are some of the challenges for specifically the younger freshmen who are, getting close to the end of what a high school season would be?
Yeah.
Now here in college, they're starting earlier and they're playing a lot later.
It's the practice habits and getting in the habit of being good every day. You get a chance to get out there, and that's my job. That's our assistant coach's jobs to be able to communicate that to our guys. And sometimes they think that we're, quote, getting on them and we're coaching them. To me, it's coaching, and sometimes they take it like we're getting on them. Well, I think that we're slowly learning. It's kind of baby steps this year, but we're slowly learning what the pace is going to be, how we need to go about our business every day. And it's not gonna get any easier as time goes on. We're going to continue to play a good non-conference schedule. We're going to continue to play a really good conference schedule and do everything we can to challenge our program and our players to try to play at the highest level.
We got 3 weekends left. UAB in here this weekend. Bit of a different week with finals going on throughout the weekend. They've got some good arms, as you mentioned. What else can you share with us?
Really good arms. I try not to look at the stat sheet too much because their numbers are just off the charts, and really, a program we have a lot of respect for. They were in the regionals a couple of years ago, won the conference tournament, and it's going to be a challenge. The other part of it is final exams. You know how much we value the academic part of it here, and it's hard for these kids. I mean, they got a lot of stuff going on. The travel's been pretty difficult. Now we got finals going on. We're playing. Conference USA does a deal where you play at home during the finals, which I think is a great rule for the league. But our guys still got to get their work done. They got to get out here and compete. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll see how it goes. The weather looks like it for a change. It's supposed to be pretty good, so that'll be a positive, and we'll show up and compete every day this weekend.
Well, and speaking of that, with the practice schedule this week, no midweek games. Forecast was supposed to be awful, but now it's turned out to be 3 pretty good days of practice. How much is that a surprise coming into this week?
It is a little bit, and it's good to get guys out there. But again, we got guys running around all over the place, and the fire alarm went off in the dorm, back-to-back nights. We got in late, on Sunday, so our freshmen were a little groggy-eyed yesterday coming to practice. But it's just something that they need to deal with as college students, and again, we're fortunate that we're in a league that really values the educational part of it too, and they make sure that all schools are at home, during their final exam.